Hey tankers, and welcome to World of Tanks with PR154. Today we're on mines following Hexaflex of the VIII clan in his Tier 8 tech tree Italian heavy tank, the Progetto 54. This tank has a 3-shot auto reloader, 320 alpha damage per shot. Penetration's not too bad at, I believe it's 220. Can we mouse there? Yep, 220, but if necessary can change up to gold for a little bit of extra punch at 242 millimeters. So, fairly standard deployment on mines. We've got the fast movers heading up for the mid. We've got the Hardeners sort of deploying out to this flank. You notice he's also bottom tiered as well, so that's going to be requiring him to play to the role of the vehicle every second of this game. Bit of a slow start from our 53 TP, but otherwise everyone's sort of distributing out to wherever they need to be. We've had some early success on the hill with the VIII being able to take the top position. So far no spotting or molestation of Hexaflex as he moves around the 8-9 flank, and he wants to try to use all 9 of his degrees of gun depression to take advantage of this spot here that you have benefits of both hull down position as well as concealment from the foliage. He spots his first potential target, the Object 257, and is able to land his first hit there. The auto reloader quickly gets a shell back in the tube, but doesn't quite manage to land that shot. There is an unfortunate IS-22 that happens to land within his sights as he sort of pulls back to the relative cover of the ridge. Now, if you haven't played an auto reloader before, they work similarly to an auto loader. It's just that you fire and then it automatically starts reloading the next shell. But the deeper you dive into the magazine, the longer it takes to reload the next shell. So if you end up doing a burst of 3 shells and then just start firing off your last shell, your damage per minute is going to suffer quite terribly. So you can see Hexaflex is making every effort here to try to reload at least to his second shell before he starts poking out the top. But this time he's going to try and give himself every chance he can get to deliver reasonable damage per minute to these targets that appear to be exposing themselves around that corner at D6. So he's taking a full complement of shells. So far, Hexaflex's team does have the advantage between the Skoda T50 and the VIII on the hill, so that gives them a tremendous advantage of eyes that the enemy will not have. Also note there's possibly a couple of deployment errors here as well. We noticed the T95 has sort of deployed at the back as a sort of sniping tank destroyer, which I'd probably question whether that's really going to be all that helpful for the team. The FV215B, the Death Star, exposes itself as well. They become quite obvious when they start blapping out with that 183mm gun, particularly when you have a set of eyes like VIII sitting up on top of the hill. Your tank destroyers can become quite obvious. We see Hexaflex has now been accompanied by a Conqueror that'll give this position just that extra bit of hull down strength. At the moment he's just dragging that penetration indicator around, looking for those chinks in the armor that he knows he can penetrate. So we're looking at cupolas on the E5, lower frontal plate. Can we clinch a shot there? No, so we're not gonna pull that shot at this point in time. We have found penetrating hits on the Progetto 54, but instead we've loosed one in the general direction of the E50. I'm not sure if that one hit. We might see that in the post-battle results in any case. Still looking for shots on the T110E5, and we are able to bite the lower frontal plate. You can see he's just waiting for that top shell to reload so that he preserves his damage per minute. The T110E5, it hasn't sort of made an attempt to move, so Hexaflex can be a little bit patient about this, but in this case he had the opportunity to land a killing shot on a vehicle 2 tiers higher than himself, so naturally that's exactly the reason why you might want to dive a little deeper into your magazine for these killing shots. We can see that enemy T95 is still parking itself all the way at the back. It's not really doing a hell of a lot for its team. Sort of as an assault tank destroyer, I can't help but feel that they would have been far better off sort of pitching in and trying to do something useful on the hill. I mean, having said that, at this point in time, the enemy team would probably think the game's working for them. They're roughly matched on hit points. They're roughly matched on kills. Perhaps a more conservative view might suggest, no, look, nothing's going badly, so we'll just keep doing what we're doing. But that can all turn around quite quickly, and in a matter of seconds, they're now 2,000 hit points down. Hexaflex again lining up on the enemy Progetto 54. We're just waiting for that magazine to fully reload. You can see the enemy object 257 has sort of attempted a bit of a cross, but the IS-22 has made itself a much more juicy and opportune target. Since we're at the bottom of the magazine anyway, let's just loose a shot off. No, patience will prevail because we do want to preserve that DPM. I suppose we're also aware that Progetto 54, with which appears to have a few more pennable facings under the circumstances, is still trying to work that corner, having been proximity spotted by the friendly tortoise. So the E50 has also made an appearance. So they're just about nailed on this corner now. Between the E50 is a one shot, the Progetto 54 is a one shot. And the defending team is insistent on having walled itself up on the hill in the background. So I think that deployment is going to cost the team dearly. I guess that ALC of a 90 could be anywhere. It could be trying to make itself useful, sort of through here, trying to spot through towards the hill. It might be backing up the Shah Future 4. I guess a small tank like that, you really don't have a lot of resolution on that. But in any case, Hexaflex has been able to make this position work really well. He's been able to use that rock to his right to protect him from tank destroyers on the rear hill here, while sort of shooting heavy tanks and medium tanks that were stuck out in the open on this D6 corner. They're currently 1,500 hit points up, with 2 tanks advantage, now that the Stridsvagn 103 has been able to knock out the enemy Shah Future 4. So we're just looking for a few more eyes on target. We're not quite sure if we can rely on the enemy to be making an aggressive mistake at this point in time. So far in this game, they have demonstrated a strong tendency to be a bit more campy in their gameplay, which I imagine would have been quite frustrating for some of the more aggressive players on their team that are somewhat left high and dry. T95 turns and is facing the other way, and Hexaflex makes good use of the 3-shot auto reloader to send 3 rounds into its backside. They're shots that might have been a little bit difficult to penetrate had the T95 been facing a more frontal orientation. And this vehicle does not learn from its mistakes. It's still just showing its side to Hexaflex. So and is now a one-shot for the Progetto 54. The TL1 LPC makes its way to the top of the hill, so hopefully that might provide the view range that Hexaflex needs to continue doing damage to the enemy. Although having dived deep into the magazine, the damage per minute will kind of suffer. But having said that, there's only 790 hit points left on the enemy team, which is realistically just 3 shots for the Progetto 54. He shuts down the enemy E50, the Tier 9 Tier 9 German rather, medium tank, and makes his move towards the hill at the back. We still haven't found that enemy ELC even 90. And as it turns out, he was hiding at the back the entire time. Unfortunately, these sort of deployment mistakes can really cost a team from the beginning. And unfortunately, on this occasion, Hexaflex has been able to take full advantage with that. So a well-deserved victory for Hexaflex's team. Let's take a look at the results. So a very nice game there by Hexaflex. He's come away with an Ace Mastery badge on the Progetto CC55 Mod 54, as well as these 2 epic medals. He's come away with High Calibre, for accounting for at least 20% of the hit point pool of the enemy team, as well as the Tanker Sniper badge for causing the most damage from a range of at least 300 meters. We've also picked up these other badges of merit: Bruiser for causing damage to internal modules, Duelist for destroying tanks that had damaged him, the Fighter medal for accounting for at least 4 enemy kills, and of course the Fire for Effect medal for doing at least his own hit points of damage, which with nearly 5,700 hit points of damage accrued, he's landed that in spades. Looking at the team scores, we've got a very well-deserved top placement by Experience, followed by the Tortoise that was allowing that was doing a lot of the proximity spotting there for Hexaflex as he was sort of shooting from his bush position. Must have been a fair bit of spotting damage accrued from the TL1 LPC as well, which had landed him in 3rd place by Experience. We see the enemy Char Future 4 had also done quite well on the damage stakes, and that's, I guess, as a product of being one of the few tanks on the enemy team that were actually sort of trying to play aggressive and spot some enemy vehicles and get some damage in. But unfortunately, some very silly deployment errors on the enemy team, and it cost them dearly. And if you'd like to see one of your replays featured on World of Tanks with PR154, please give us a shout out over Discord or any of the links below, and we'll do our best to sort you out. In the meantime, take care out there.